and welcome to episode 7 of the Sports for Dummies podcast. My name is Hope Ellen and I'm joined every week by my wonderful co-star, Lewis Pearce. Now, this is the podcast for you if you know everything about sports like Lewis, or you know absolutely nothing like moi. We're here to tell you the biggest stories of the week and have a little giggle along the way. Lewis, you've been busy at festivals once again. How are you?
Yes, I'm well, thank you. I'm back. I came back from Greenbelt Festival. For any of those listening that did go, I don't know if people did, but they may have done. I came back. That was actually in Northampton, up near Kettering. So actually, not that far from you, but it is far from you.
Yeah, no, it's not that far from me.
Yeah,
if I go anywhere in the car, I have to drive that way most of the time.
There you go. So I was up that way, and it was really good fun. It was very interesting. There was some music, some poetry, some kind of talks, interactive Q&As. It was a lot of like people from different walks of life, all kind of a faith-based thing. So it's a Christian festival, but they ask bigger questions and stuff. So yeah, it was really, really good. How's your week been? Yeah,
it's been good. I mean, family time overload, but it's been lovely spending time with the family. I mean, yesterday, basically my brother's back from America with his wife. And they also extended their flights. They're meant to be going home this weekend, but now they're going home next weekend.
Oh,
which is
nice.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So I've had my nieces and my nephew round more or less every night, and we've just been making loads of nice memories, and it's been really, really nice. Just can't get my words out. Just to chill. And you know what, Lewis? I woke up quarter of an hour ago, hence why I can't get my words out. Actually, that's not an excuse. Every week I can't get my words out. And that would be at like 6 o'clock in the evening. So I've got no excuse. I can't talk.
Hope that's okay. And the question for you is for your nieces and was there a nephew in there? There's
a nephew. Yeah.
Do they have American accents then?
No. So this is the thing. When I explain this, it sounds like my brother's kids. They're my sister's kids who live here. But we've been having family time.
Oh, because I got really, really confused. I was like, okay, I'm now with you. I understand.
And I put a post on Insta yesterday and it was like, my brother's come back and we're spending loads of family time. And it looked like they're their kids, but they're actually my sister's kids.
Gotcha. Okay, so there you go. Big family.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday, my little nephew, Charlie, bless him, he's 7. He realised that Uncle Joe and Auntie Lauren are going home soon. And he literally had a big meltdown. And he had to have a little pep talk. Yeah, he got really sad.
Poor kid.
I mean, he keeps ignoring me because I'm not fun.
You're the boring.
I'm the boring one. He doesn't even I opened the door today and he just looked at me and went, "Where's Uncle Joe?" I was like, "Well, thanks, Charlie."
That is wow,
no hug for me.
That is rude. Oh well. Do you know what? At least though, you know where he stands, I guess.
And then this is even funnier. The other day, Joe and Lauren were round there. I arrived and Charlie looked at me and went, "You're not invited."
See, yeah, that's what I think that he must. He probably loves you the most, even if he doesn't pretend like he does. He probably does.
He's only a kid. It was just funny. I was like, "That's rude."
Yeah. All right. Cheers, mate. Anyway.
Cheers. Anyway, moving on to today's lots of stories. I'm assuming.
Yes, we've got. It's interesting. I hope quite a mix of stories. We've got one that I've kept from last week, and then we've got one that's interesting. I'll be interested to hear your opinion on, and a man, as always, who pops up in the news for all, not the wrong reasons, but all the funny reasons, I would say. But we're going to start with an amazing, again, I would say one of the most inspirational stories of the year, and something actually that's really warmed hearts of all football fans across the world. And I would say most people across the world. Hasn't been much coverage on it really, but even still, we're going to talk about it, of course, because it's a Sports for Dummies podcast, people. And this is what we do. We cover the stories that aren't always in the media. So hopefully
because this is a place to go for expertise
and insight into things that the regular world wouldn't cover. So hope today we're talking about the Ukrainian Football League, which is returned, also known as the Ukrainian Premier League.
Okay. Literally not heard anything about this, so you're right.
See, there you go. Which is very interesting, really, because actually kind of the basis around it starting up again after obviously 6 or 7 months of it not happening is interesting. So it's been 6 months, Hope, since the league. Unfortunately, well, it's a bit more complicated than that. But I'll give you the full Sports for Dummies rundown. This conversation also might take majority of our time because it's quite complicated and in depth, and there's lots of different areas to cover of this. But in short, to give some context, so
don't even do it in short, Lewis. This is something that media is not covering. We're doing it good. We're doing it right.
We're ready for it. So no football has actually been played, Hope, since mid-December in Ukraine. So lots of teams in Europe often have winter breaks. And what that means is they go on break for a couple of months. Of course, Ukraine being a country a bit like Russia, which gets especially cold in the winter, they break from sort of December, January time all the way through to February. Now, they were due to resume playing on February 25th. But as most people will know, the war in Ukraine broke out, or Russia's invasion into Ukraine broke out mid-February. And so the league was then suspended and then abandoned in April. So there's been no football since February. And the first match was played on August 23rd. That was Shakhtar Donetsk against Metalist Kharkiv at the capital Olympic Stadium in Kiev, or Kyiv as some people say. Now, I want to say as well, before we kind of get going on this, I apologise for any pronunciation in advance because there are some teams' names that I absolutely cannot say and I don't really know how you say them. So apologies for getting some of them wrong.
Lewis, I was about to say, you are very good at pronouncing things.
Really?
Genuinely, I was about to say, because I really struggle with pronouncing things. And but I'll give you an example. Last weekend, I was at the KSI, last Friday actually, KSI weigh-in. And he said Logan Paul, he wasn't there. And there's a guy who's a promoter, and I was practicing his name all week because I was like, I've not met him before.
Oh, no.
He could give me a job in the future. Let's really get it right. Practicing. Got there, was asking everyone, oh, how do I say his name? Got in my own head so badly.
Oh, dear.
I can even put the clip in here. And I went, hello there. I'm good, thank you. It's Hope Ella, now with Kale. Sorry, let me say that again.
Say again? What?
How do I say your name?
Calla.
You know what? I've been studying your name because it's the first time we've met.
Yeah.
And I've been practicing. I still got it wrong. And surname, Sauerland.
Sourland. That's
Sauerland.
sweet and sour.
Right, let's start that again, let's try. It's Hope Ellen for Behind the Gloves, now with Keller Sauerland. Said it right, yeah?
I hope so, yeah.
I should know that, really.
Standing here if you didn't.
Oh, there we go. So, Kale Sauerland, and then I went, oh, sorry, that's not right, is it? How do you say your name? And he went, it's Keller.
Oh, no.
Sauerland.
Kellogg's Soreface, Kellogg's Soreland, you know.
But then, for some reason, he thought my name was Bella.
Okay, it's equally as... Okay, well, either
And I
way.
don't know why. Whether it was because when I introduced myself earlier on in the day, because I saw him and I went, oh, I'm Hope Ellen, nice to meet you. Because I do that with everyone.
Yeah, Hope Ellen.
Whether it was loud and he thought Bella, because the thing, he went, oh, it's okay, Bella, in the interview. And at the end, he went, nice to meet you, Bella. And I didn't correct him, Lewis. So now he's going to think my name is Bella. And I'm going to keep calling him Kale by mistake. Like a friggin' vegetable.
Oh dear. Well, Hope, do you know what?
I trust your pronunciations more than mine. So I'm pleased that you're the one delivering this news today.
Well, I'll do my best. Hopefully I won't get the names as wrong as Kale or Bella. But yeah, the opening game, so there are no fans allowed in the stadium. So that's kind of one of the rules of this football, of course, because it means that players, if the air raid sirens go, the players have to rush to bomb shelters. So that I don't believe that's happened as of yet. But the Shakhtar Donetsk captain, who's called Taras Stepenko, was said in an interview, "We have rules in case of an alarm, and we should go underground. But I think the team's players will be proud of this event, i.e., the event being the football going on." So there are normally 18 teams in the league. This year they've restarted with 16. And that's because there are two teams. One is Desna Cherniev, and the other team is Mariupol. Now, these two teams, where the cities are from, have been absolutely destroyed, of course, by the ongoing war in Ukraine. So that has meant that there is no football to be played in those cities. So it means that obviously 18 is reduced to 16. Now, they've also announced.
Can you just take can you imagine?
Oh, I hope it gets worse. It's like it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
But you playing football, and then is it going to be broadcast?
Well, I'll get to that. There actually is.
Oh, sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
Don't worry, I don't worry. I hope we've got sections here because all games are going to be played near Kiev and the sort of the further west. So kind of away from the front line, which is on the east side of Ukraine. Now, it will be that way, I think, for the people watching at home on YouTube. But yes, the games will be shown domestically, but they will also be shown internationally on YouTube. And that YouTube have signed a deal with Setanta for $16 million over 3 years, which actually is quite good odds for a European. That's
not a lot of money, is it?
Well, no, it's not a lot of money, Hope, really. And some Premier League players earn more than that in 1 year. But in the grand scheme, for a league which has less coverage than, say, other leagues, again, in truth, I don't know what the rates before had been in the Ukrainian league, but from what I know from other domestic leagues, it's actually not bad. And given as well the state of the league currently and what's happening in terms of how many international players they've lost, there is definitely, I think that's a bonus. Regardless, the point is they've managed to sign a deal, which is fantastic because
I feel like they've probably been able to get more money for that because of what the political climate, because of what's happening there.
Yeah.
People are more willing to support and watch what's happening.
Yeah.
There's a kind of, even though it's so negative as to why, there is definitely a light that's been shone on Ukraine, and there's more people I feel who support Ukraine and Ukrainians than don't. Do you know what I mean?
No, 100%. I know. You're absolutely right. And I think that also plays into a factor of why people are going to follow this league. Not necessarily, it won't be every single English fan or European fan will follow, but I've actually kept in touch with it because it's quite interesting to read about and actually learn about some of the teams, as we're going to get onto in just a minute. But so in terms of, and you've got to think as well, Hope, not only does this affect domestic football, it also affects European football. So Ukrainian clubs that are playing in UEFA competitions, be it the Champions League, Europa League, or Europa Conference, they have actually played their games either in Poland, Slovakia, or Sweden, and that's to protect the opposition. So, you know, teams that are coming from, say, Portugal or Greece or wherever, obviously, if they travel to Ukraine, they're then put in danger as well. So they've hosted them in neutral venues to keep them safe. So Shakhtar Donetsk, who were top last season of the league, oh, go.
I've got a question.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt the flow,
okay.
though I did.
I was on a roll.
But I also wanted to say it while I remembered it. When you were saying the Ukrainian Premier League, I was thinking it would just be teams in Ukraine. So like here when we have like London teams or Manchester United, Manchester City. I don't know. I don't understand why there's teams from other European countries like Greece.
Oh, okay. I need to do. Okay, we'll do proper sports for dummies. So that's the Champions League. So
yeah. You thought I was ahead of what I am, Lewis.
I thought we'd gone over this. I thought you were on it. You know how Liverpool play in the Champions League, Hope? So we go away to Scotland. We go to Real Madrid. Same thing in Ukraine. So in Ukraine, they'll be taking part in European competitions. So not only do they play. So I'll give you an example, right? We'll do it for Liverpool because it'll make more sense. So Liverpool this season are playing in the Premier League. But we're also playing in the Champions League. And that is the competition that we play European teams. So we've got Rangers.
Yes,
right. There you go. So
basically, Ukraine have started their Premier League.
Yeah.
But they've also started their Champions League.
But the Champions League games have to be played they cannot be played in Ukraine because of the ongoing invasion from Russia. They have to go and they have to play in a different country to protect their opponents. So it would... As an example,
sorry.
No, you say.
I mean, maybe the Ukrainian footballers and the football industry wouldn't want this. Whoa, sorry, my coffee nearly going all over me. But what could have been a case would been that another country could have hosted Ukrainian football, so it didn't need to stop.
That is.
Do you know what I mean?
That's true, Hope. I see a point and I take that definitely. I think the only thing that's difficult about that, though, is that you've got to think, when the invasion happens, if you're saying that you're going to continue the league and stuff, right? I'll give you an example. So let's say the Ukrainian league goes, right, let's say back in February, March time, we're going to continue the league in Poland. Not only have you got to find all the different clubs or a place that can host all the teams in Poland while their football season is also going on. So you've got to balance that. You've also got to think too that they have to evacuate all of those players. And given the situation with people evacuating anyway, I don't know what that would have looked like. There is potential that would have happened. But what I can tell you is that in terms of the horrible reality of the situation, when the league curtailed, when the league was cut short because of the war, Shakhtar Donetsk had 50 players, at least 50 players, family and staff, in a hotel that was owned by their owner, and they were effectively waiting to be evacuated. So they were in a place together, waiting to get out of Ukraine. And to be honest, Hope, I think at the time of the war going on, I can imagine that the last thing people would want to be doing is playing football. The one thing you want really is either safety or protection. And to put yourself at risk playing football, even going to another country, I don't know if that would have been the right move. But I can see the thinking behind that, though.
I mean, maybe there were offers. that we just don't know about.
Yeah, there could have been.
From countries to have done that. What was I going to say? Yeah. Okay, that they're taking everything kind of safety into everything they're doing with launching this again. And they've made the decision not to have fans there, and they've got the bomb shelters if needed. But I'm sure there are going to be players on that pitch who are terrified and maybe don't want to be there.
Oh, hope there absolutely will be. But equally, the Shakhtar Donetsk captain was very proud of his team and the fact that people are returning to football. Even the President Zelensky said it back in, I think it was June time. He said in an interview that football is such a big thing in Ukraine and they wanted to bring it back as soon as possible. But the truth is, Hope, there are people and there are some incredible stories to tell you about, one of which absolutely blew me away. And this is from a club called FC, and again, this is where I apologise for pronunciation, but I'm going to say it's FC Kyrgios Ri, and it's spelt Kryvbas space Kryvyi space RIH. So
yes, that's a hard one.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how to say that. But anyway, the city of, and I'm going to say Kryvyi Rih, is in central Ukraine. Now, they've actually appointed a man this season called Yuri Vernidub. Now, Yuri Vernidub has been appointed the manager for the season. He's signed a 3-year deal. And when I was reading this article, kind of learning about their club, I absolutely stopped me in my tracks, because his photo of him when they, managers hold up the shirt and stuff, he's holding the shirt with, 2025, whatever it was on the back, 3 years, can't remember. But he's holding the shirt and he's in his military uniform. And the club have announced that his coaching will be split. His time will be split between military service and managing a club. So he has been fighting on the front line. Now, even more amazingly, Yuri actually managed a team last season called Sheriff Tiraspol. Now, they are in Moldova, so not in Ukraine, in Moldova. But they won the league last year. They also beat Real Madrid in an amazing win. They won 2-1 at the Bernabeu. So it's kind of incredible win from this team that no one really knew. He actually resigned from his job at Sheriff midway through the season to fight for his homeland. So he quit the job and he said, I'm going home. I don't want to take part anymore. And he has been on the front line. And so he is going to be managing the club while also, doing military service. I just think a complete act of bravery. And I'm sure there will be more stories like that with players. It's a phenomenal, phenomenal story.
I don't know if I told you this. Did I tell you about Usyk when I was watching the fight with Dad?
Yes, you did.
And I just said, he's been on the front line. Dad was like, what are you on about? No, he hasn't. I went, he has. I feel like a lot of people have not only supported Ukraine and what's been going on because they feel like it's disgusting and wrong what Russia have done, but also because they've seen how proud Ukrainians are of their country and their courage and their strength to go out of their normal lives to be on the front line. And okay, I think there was a stage where it was like the men needed to stay back and do that. But a lot of them actually felt compelled to do it without being told they had to. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. And
I mean, that's an outsider's perspective. I'm not there, so I could be chatting rubbish.
Yeah, we don't know.
But from what was portrayed on the media, and that's what would have swayed people's opinions.
Oh, it's amazing. And the fact that he is managing in a top football league, this isn't Sunday League, Hope, where it's kind of, it doesn't matter. There is money on the line in this league. There are also big name players. And it's incredible. And I think he's one of, I'm sure, many people who has had to face that sort of reality of, what do I do? And it's been amazing as well. The Ukrainian league has been so accommodating for that he is able to split military service with coaching as well, which is amazing. But the truth is, Hope, there is a horrible reality behind the football league, and it's overshadowed completely. So there's a team called FC Kyrgios. Now, they posted their players in training, and in amongst sort of the their typical Instagram posts and seeing the players in action and pre-season and stuff, they also posted a young fan by the name of Ruslan Medanik, and he was sadly killed in action. He was a massive supporter of the club, and it makes you think that it's more than just football. It's not a league going on, and I think we, say in England or say in European leagues, take for granted the luxury of just playing football with nothing else going on in the background right now. And it reminded me a bit in the same way of how COVID worked, in that, there weren't fans in the stadiums and we were all locked at home, but their reason is completely different. And you can only imagine the feeling of of the players, I think managers, anyone involved in the league, and how difficult it must be to go week in, week out and play. So we'll have to see what happens with the league. Of course, it is continuing at the moment. Most teams have played 2 games. More games are being played this weekend, which is time of recording Friday. So they're playing tomorrow. But we'll have to wait and see. I don't know exactly what's going to happen with the league. And of course, if anything, I guess, happened with Kiev and Russia, that might then impact the football.
I mean, it's a huge thing. Even though fans aren't able to be there, the fact that it's coming back will give the nation hope that things are getting better. I mean, I saw something the other day that about McDonald's is reopening in Ukraine.
Yes, I saw that as well. Yeah.
Which sounds like really like mundane, but imagine being you see that and then you'd be like, things are going back to normal. Like, this is good. And so that would be a huge thing for people's kind of hearts and their minds to see that football is back. Also, World Cup is this year, isn't it? Will Ukraine be in the World Cup?
No, they lost, sadly, Hope. They lost to Wales.
Oh.
Yeah, they had the playoff final. They played Wales and they were defeated, sadly. So no, they won't be there.
And when is the World Cup and where?
The World Cup starts November 12th. England, the football teams leave. Well, England, all I know is the English teams leave.
I mean, November is fine.
Okay.
Let's give me a precise date and time.
No, it's mid-November to mid-December. So it's 6 weeks long. And it's held in Qatar, as we've discussed before, with the human rights issues going on there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just before Christmas.
Yes, but it completely interrupts the Football League, which is a bit rubbish, really. So it means that all the teams are going to be disrupted and the league is put on pause for a competition which debatably shouldn't be happening. But again, that's a whole different conversation for a different day.
I mean, it will be on the same time as X Factor starts.
Oh, boo.
That's always the build up to Christmas, isn't it?
Hope.
Not that I watch it anymore.
Say.
I watched it like 10 years ago, but that is a sign that Christmas is coming.
It's weird though, isn't it? How much like X Factor, Britain's Got Talent, The Voice kind of just fell off. Like, again, if you're bored.
It's because it was just too many of them.
Yeah, and.
Also, Britain's Got Talent used to annoy me because you get singers on there and it's like, we're on the wrong show. Get on X Factor.
No.
Do you know what I mean? You're meant to be performing with your dog here, not you singing.
Should just be one super show. You should have one super show where everyone can audition for it. It's all exciting. That way you build, rather than having, it's like Knitting's Got Talent or, who can make their dog jump through the more hoops to fight, whatever, because some of the people do amazing things. Some of it is very, very cool. But other stuff you look at and it is boring. And if I thought you were going
to say, I was between two words that you might have said there based on how I know you and your phrases. Boring was one of them. The other one would have been pants.
No, I haven't used that one in a long time. To be fair, it is pants. But anyway, coming back on track. So yes, incredible for the Ukrainian Football League. And of course, we wish everyone in Ukraine all the best in terms of from a football perspective and everyone there. Hopefully there is peace very, very soon and that the league can continue. And also that fans can return to stadiums, Hope, because that would be amazing as well. I remember how difficult it was being at home watching the football. But equally, as you said, a bit like McDonald's returning, I actually reckon that the league coming back means that there is some regularity to life. And it means that your club might be playing X team and you're excited for that, or there could be a derby behind closed doors, who knows? But yeah, hopefully there is peace very, very soon and the league can continue.
On the note of football, in this country,
yes,
obviously you're wearing your Liverpool shirt there.
Way!
I don't need to wear a shirt because it's tattooed on my heart.
That is painful.
I was speaking to someone the other day and he was laughing at me because I was like, I don't know who we're playing, but I know we need 3 points. Did we get the 3 points, Lewis?
Against Newcastle, Hope. 98th minute, right?
We needed the 2 goals.
We needed 1 goal. It was 1-1. It was 1-1 in the 98th minute, and we needed to.
No, I know, but in terms of getting the 3 points.
Oh, sorry. Yes, we went 1-0 down. Right. First half, we were absolutely dreadful. Went into the half 1-0 down. We were awful. We played so poorly. It was just dreadful.
It was pants.
Yeah, it literally pants. It was awful. Anyway, second half starts. Yeah, I didn't really pick up. It was okay. Then he makes a substitution. Fabio Carvalho comes on the pitch. Absolute flipping legend. He comes on. 1-1, right? So we're back in the game. Clock's ticking. We're pushing. Then 98th flipping minute, right?
That's brilliant.
Mo Salah. I can't even think it was pandemonium. I honestly, I don't even. I do remember it. It wasn't a blur, but as in, it was a blur in the
It was a
sense of-
backwards kick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like a panicked.
So it hit Mo's shoulder. He kind of like shouldered it, and it fell to Fabio, who hit it underside of the bar and in, and he went absolutely mental. The pub that I was in erupted. It was brilliant.
What do you think of Mo at the moment?
Oh, hope. I mean, in fairness, he got 2 assists on Wednesday night, so that can't be. You can't say he's been terrible. But since AFCON, Hope, which was in January, it's the African Cup of Nations, Mo went away with Egypt to play in that, and
I remember this.
Upon returning, I don't know. He hasn't really been the same player, but then a lot of players haven't this season. Andy, and again, I don't ever like calling out players, and I'm not doing it in a cynical way. I'm just saying, someone like Andy Robertson as well this season hasn't looked the player he was last year. And I think the reason for people like Mo, Andy, these sort of players, is that Liverpool played the most amount of games in England last year. So we played, I think, was it 54 games, 50 something, some stupid number.
Don't know why you're asking me.
Again,
I'm the dummy here, Lewis. Remember how it works.
To be fair, it was more of a rhetorical in my head question to myself. I wasn't really, because again, it
weren't even mistaking me for being genius.
Like your little nephew. I wasn't talking to you. So.
Oh man, the men in my life. Gosh.
But so anyway, yes. So people like Mo, Robertson. The trouble with it is, Hope, and this is kind of my perspective on it, is that they haven't been given a rest. We had pre-season, the league ends. Liverpool played the most amount of pre-season games in comparison to any club. So most teams normally play about 3 games in pre-season, give or take. We played 6. And you think as well, we were playing our first team players and that we were rotating. They were working hard in countries as well that aren't cold all summer long. And I don't believe the Liverpool squad has had enough investment in the summer and enough rotation, and in terms of freshening it up, if you will, in inverted commas, bringing in new players to give other players a rest, other players a chance. Whereas now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm sure I'm correct, so Liverpool played, who did we play? Was it Southampton? Right. There was a game, anyway, back in 2017. I can't remember exactly who it was, but the point to tell you is 9 out of the 11 players that played in the game, I think it was 2 weeks ago, of the 11 players in our squad, 9 of them were in the same team that Jurgen Klopp managed 5 years ago. Now, you can interpret that in one or two ways. One is that we've built an amazing squad, which is true. No doubt about it. Great squad. The other is that we've had no investment. We haven't had any freshing up. And in fairness, we currently have about 3 gazillion injuries. Everyone seems to be injured. But even still.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah. Is it Thiago?
Yeah.
Is that how you say his name?
Injured.
Thiago. Also, we did have investment. Nunes. Look what happened there. Although he's back next game, isn't he?
He's back tomorrow against Everton for the derby. But even still, the point is,
he would have got a big slap on the wrist for that behaviour.
Klopp would have gone absolutely I can't.
I would have been so scared of Klopp shouting at me.
That dressing room would have been awful. But no, to be fair, okay, I take it back. I take your point that we have had investment, but even still.
Yeah, but not enough.
Manchester United, Hope, spent £220 million in the summer. Manchester City bought probably the greatest striker in the world in current success. Chelsea have invested about £1 trillion in their defence.
Raheem.
Yeah, and
Sterling.
Raheem. They bought Raheem up front too. So the tricky thing is really, we don't necessarily need to invest. We have a squad that is good enough to compete, there's no doubt. But when you look at players like Mo, players like Robertson, players even like Van Dijk, Hope, they all look knackered. They look absolutely knackered.
So here's some theories from my family.
Yes.
Mum thinks Virgil van Dijk has not been the same for years. My brother and dad think he doesn't run to the front as much as he used to. He just stays in his position. But I said maybe he's been told to do that. And my brother thinks Mo Salah has not been the same since he got his new contract because he got what he wanted.
Yeah, I mean, there are...
And also Mane's gone. And Mo and Mane were like, I don't know if they were actually friends off the pitch, but they were besties on the pitch.
Hope it is difficult. And the truth as well is that when you've got a player like Darwin, say, so Nunez comes in, first game he comes off the bench, second game he comes in and he starts, and of course he gets his red card. That's a sort of thing where you need him to stay fit because 3, 4, 5 games playing together up front, and whether that is with Firmino or Mo or whoever is in our front line or Luis Diaz, you then build a rapport, you start to gel. Whereas the trouble we've got now is that Nunez comes in, first starting game, red card, right? So that means he's then not available, which is just silly. So he then comes back, great. So he's back for Everton, fantastic. The problem we've got is that when you have players that come in that are brand new and aren't able to gel, there is a massive problem because you need them to settle in.
Oh, Man U, we saw that.
Exactly as we discussed, that they looked awful. But the point is, the players they've invested are settled into the squad. You know, their left back they've signed is a settled player now. He's in the team. He's likely to probably start every single game, debatably. And I'm not upset with our investment. I can see the reasons why. Again, it's a longer conversation for a different day. But the truth is, they are planning next summer, hope, to go big, and they are gonna go all in for big players, which is fantastic. But the fact is, we have a season in front of us, and there's no doubt that the World Cup, as I've always said, and I will say, is going to disrupt things. I think the World Cup is definitely going to disrupt seasons. But even still, we have a season to play, and so to not invest anything to just go, oh, we'll just do it next summer, is like, what?
Well, also, and if we do so badly this summer, then the good players might be like, well, I don't want to join that team.
See, I hope you need to become chairman of Liverpool.
I mean, if the money's right, they probably would.
Yeah, I mean, it might do.
Can I just say, I saw a clip of Man U yesterday. My brother and dad were watching it, and I popped in the room, and they looked better. They looked very good yesterday. Also, Everton are going to be frustrating tomorrow because Everton are the most stop-start time wasters that there bloody is.
So, I'll answer that. To be fair, I hope United look decent. They do.
They did yesterday. I was like, whoa, look at that tricky feat. Someone nutmeg someone. Apparently, you have to shout nutmeg if you actually nutmeg someone.
Hey, there you go. I'm good at that. Yeah, you do. Or you go, whoa. But that's impressive.
Way, nutmeg. Like
whereas Everton are awful. So, but hope the trouble with the Merseyside derby is it's always difficult. We're going to Goodison Park. It's never an easy place to go. It's one of those seasons where I just worry.
There's history.
Yeah, and the truth is, hope. Unfortunately, I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but I'm not confident, and I think Darwin being back is fantastic. We got that late winner, great. That's going to fuel the boys for sure. But Everton are in an absolutely dire run of form. And if there's ever a game, just like I said with United, if there is ever a game they're going to bounce back against, it's going to be Liverpool. But we can be optimistic, we can be hopeful.
Me and my nephew call Pickford, pick your noseford. My nephew loves that. Oh, pick your noseford. I'm like, yes, Charlie. And what else was I going to say? I'm gutted. I was meant to be in Liverpool this weekend.
Oh, that's such a shame.
Oh, I know. And I would have been around all the scenario and I didn't go.
That is a shame. Never mind. But yeah.
I know, I'm gutted. Honestly, gutted. But I'll be watching it anyway. Of course.
Actually, I sadly hope I'm going to be at work, but I will be listening on the radio, so I'll tune in. I'll have Talk Sport on.
Oh, that is not the same.
I know, but
you'll be serving people coffees thinking, oh,
of course I will.
I don't know why you've got shakes. Maybe it's the rage.
Yeah, absolutely fuming. But yeah, we'll do predictions in a second. But I'm not going to lie. As always, Liverpool fans have got to be optimistic. So I am going to be hopeful. I'm going to say going forwards, I think we'll be all right. I think we have enough investment in the squad, and equally, when those players do return from injury, we're going to get top 4. It's going to be okay. I'm not confident about the league. I just think City are way too strong. But for tomorrow, Everton against Liverpool, I am going to say. I don't want to say a draw, but I don't. Awful. Right.
I thought you were going to be optimistic. What on earth?
Okay, I'm going to say 1-0 Liverpool.
Right, I've got 2 guesses.
Well, that's like, and when it could be 2-1.
No, because one might be a bit. One
could be.
One might be too optimistic.
Right, go on then. Oh dear.
2-1.
Yeah.
We win. 4-2. We win.
4-2. Wow, that's a big, right. You know what we'll do? We'll hold it. That is a big prediction. We'll hold you to that. To be fair, it could be high scoring. I think both defenses are leaky. There's no doubt. That would be a classic, to be fair. A Goodison, that would be a big, big game. Okay, right. Well, let's stick with that.
Wouldn't that be great?
I'll say my boring 1-0 and you can go for the big scoreline. But I've realised we've been speaking for ages. We haven't gone back to our stories.
I know. Right. Sorry if you don't like Liverpool, by the way.
People listening.
You can just skip the last 20 minutes.
We'll make an official announcement on the post to let people know what to skip if you don't care.
But moving on to story number 2.
Yes, Hope. Story number 2. And we're finally getting to it. We're talking quite an interesting story. I think a story that I'd be interested to hear your thoughts about, Hope, because it's vaguely, again, involving the world of YouTube. Now, we're talking about Mr. Floyd Mayweather.
Ooh. Do you want me to tell you a funny story about Floyd Mayweather?
Go on.
I don't know if I told you this before.
No, have you met him?
So when I first moved to London, I can't remember how it started, but I
That
had...
sounded like it was going to be a romance. It really did. I don't know how it started, but it was a coffee shop in Shoreditch. And it was that.
So Floyd Mayweather got in touch with me, and I can't remember how it started. It might have been an email.
What?
And then we were WhatsApping, and he was sending me selfies of him like by the pool, and we were chatting every day. And he wanted to FaceTime and all this stuff, and he was going to come to London, and he was going to take me out on like with my friends to like his bar. And then he asked for nudes, and I realised it wasn't Floyd Mayweather. I was getting catfished. but I was aware that I might have been getting catfished. Like I remember being at work, and I was saying to the girls about it. They're like, "Oh my God!" And I went, "It's probably not him." I went, "I'm pretty sure it's not Floyd Mayweather, but it might be," because that optimistic spark in me. So I was like, "But it might be."
You bet it was the email of like Floyd.Mayweather443412 @Gmail, Yahoo.
I think I've still got it on my phone, actually. How funny is that, though?
I can't believe that. The fact you gave this person your number as well. Oh my
God.
God.
They can't do anything with a number, can they? Yeah, Floyd Mayweather, J Jr. @gmx.com. I've still got him on my phone.
Wow. That is well, Floyd Mayweather Jr. @gmx.com, wherever you are, my friend. Text Hope again, she misses you. Coming back
oh my God.
to the real Floyd Mayweather. So that is the story.
Can the real Floyd Mayweather please stand up?
Can the real Floyd Mayweather please stand up? Well, your one won't be for sure. Your bloke's probably not. There's definitely not his name.
Mine's
anyway.
just some like fat perv behind a... Well, it doesn't matter if it's fat or not, but some perv behind a computer screen.
Yeah, dearie me. But also, before we get rolling with that, why do people do that? What is the excitement of pretending to be somebody else and texting women for like get a life? And the fact is as well, again, I know some people are naive enough to do that, but it becomes pretty obvious it's not Floyd Mayweather when they start asking things like that. You know, it's just stupid.
But I mean, give him or her credit. They eased into that after about 2 weeks.
Wow.
Wouldn't have got any bank details from me though, and even if they did, they wouldn't get a lot of money from me.
Well,
buy yourself a 99p chicken mayo. That's all I've got.
The real Floyd Mayweather needs no more money because he is loaded. So
he is.
The 50-0 boxing legend is actually going to take on an MMA fighter and YouTuber called Mikuru Asakura in an exhibition fight. Now, this is going to take place in Japan on September 25th, which is my dad's birthday. So happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday, Mr. Pierce.
Thank you. Now, it's kind of, we're going to give a quick, I'm going to go sports.
Sorry, just quickly. Did they have a nice holiday, Mum and Dad?
Yes, they did. They had a lovely holiday. Oh, fun fact, actually, at the hotel they were staying in, they bumped into Becky Hill. So there you go. That's a fun fact for you. Yeah, it's very fun. Now, Mikuru Asakura, he is a 16-3 fighter. He's a mixed martial artist. And he's fought in the featherweight division of the Rizin Fighting Federation. I don't know what do you know what Rizin is? It might be a Japanese thing. I wasn't entirely sure.
No idea.
No. Okay. Well, anyway, he's also a 2-division champion in the MMA. But it's quite interesting because Mayweather actually flew back in 2018. He flew to Tokyo and he was offered $9 million by Rizin as well to have a 3-round exhibition against another kickboxing star who's called Teshin Nasukawa. Nasukawa. And unfortunately, well, no surprise, it was an easy day at the office for Mayweather. He actually dropped the opponent who was undersized him. He dropped him 3 times, and this guy looked tiny in comparison. He actually made him cry. So, it was that easy for Mayweather. Now, I was interested because this man.
Oh my God! Imagine I've never seen someone cry in the ring.
No, it was. Yeah, I didn't ever watch the clip, but from what I read, he also then started dancing around the ring in celebration. I was thinking, Floyd, my friend, isn't that impressive? Like you've obviously beaten a champion, but you're a boxing legend, and so you're taking on someone who is who's not even in the same field as you. Anyway,
I'd like to see an exhibition fight between Floyd and Ricky Hatton.
Well, I hope you beat me too, because I was going to ask if you could have any
exhibition.
Because this is why I brought this story in, because I thought actually, of course he'll be doing it for the money. It's a bit of fun. He did say in an interview as well, He loves traveling around the world, entertaining people. But if you could have one, and let's not say Floyd, let's say just an exhibition. If you could have two people fighting in an exhibition match, who are you picking?
Do you know who just popped in my head?
Go on.
Michael Jackson.
If he was fighting, I'd be really worried at this point.
No, but like, if we're doing like Dead or Alive.
Oh, sorry. Okay, if we're doing, oh, okay, right, I'm with you. Go on.
I'm not meaning like dig him up, skeleton boy.
But you mean, you're talking so back in the day. Yeah, smooth criminal, boom boom, bada boom boom, punch with a boom boom, bada. You know what?
Yeah, I don't know why I put it in my head, but there you go. Michael Jackson. Can you imagine Michael Jackson in the ring?
Oh no, I think he'd be quite smooth. Like he'd moonwalk away from his opponent. You know, he could do his little.
Yeah,
he could do his
right.
kick. I reckon he'd probably be better. You know, my thought on someone like him, Hope. I reckon he'd be best at like MMA because you can kick in that. You know when he does his 12s and he does his leg stuff with his, you know, and he goes, whoa! I reckon he'd be quite smooth.
Have you ever seen Scary Movie?
No, I can't. I couldn't bring myself just because it's silly.
Okay. Well, I watched it when I was younger. Probably won't watch it now. Probably because I was scared of it.
Oh my days!
It's Scary Movie 4. There's a little boy in it who's like meant to be the Grudge, and he's not even. He's just a little boy who's painted white. But I was terrified of it for like 10 years. Anyway, Michael Jackson's in it, not real Michael Jackson, like, and his nose falls off, and that's what would happen in the ring.
Oh my days! Right, so we're going.
His nose would fly off.
So you've picked. Okay, so you've gone. Who's the other one then? So we've got.
I don't know who the opponent is.
Blue. Wait, what songs he got that are associated to colour? Oh, it doesn't matter if you're black or white. We can't really pick then.
It doesn't matter if you're blue or red.
Yeah, in the neutral corner, we've got Michael Jackson, and in the other corner, who have we got? Now you've got to think. You've got to match. We're talking featherweight. Like Michael Jackson's pretty little, so you've got to match someone with him. Actually, I know who I'm going for.
I know.
Oh, go on.
I know who I'm going for.
Go on, you go.
Just because you said little H.
H. Okay. I was gonna...
And MJ. I think H would win.
I think he would too. I was going to go for Carl Pilkington.
What, from that show where he travels around?
Idiot Abroad. I just think him in a boxing ring would be unbelievable.
I think he'd have quite a good attitude.
Yeah, I think he'd be tough. I think he'd be scary. But again, I think MJ might be. I don't know, because don't forget, MJ's the difference is right. If we're doing, let's say, Carl versus MJ. MJ's a man for performing, so he's going to have stamina. He's going to have grit. But equally, you know, Carl Pilkington hates everything, and so he'll find a way to moan about it, but he'll get through it.
And I definitely bet he had a part of him that hated MJ.
Yeah, that MJ guy, I can't stand him. Oh, his music's so annoying. Yeah, there'll be something about him that he's a funny. He is a. Do
you know what? If journalism never works out for you, you can do impressions for a living because you're brilliant.
Thanks, Hope. You know what? Actually, saying that, once I'm done with university, I'm going to contact voiceover agents because I should do that. I should do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, why don't you do it now?
Well, I should do it again. But the trouble
all about grabbing the present moment, Lewis. Not strangling it. I mean, you can if you want. This episode's off the rails and I love it.
We're literally in the plot.
Can I just say, I'm putting it out there, right? For anyone listening, I would love to be in a charity boxing match. Or I would love to fight. So please consider, if you need a woman, I reckon I'd be about bantamweight. If I was in shape, probably even less than that. But
see, this is what little nephews do.
I've got my big butt.
This is what little nephews do to you. I want to fight.
I think I'd be all right in the ring, you know.
I think you would too. I would be quite scared.
I'm quite.
You. Well, then, Hope, get down the gym, get training. Let's get you involved. I can interview you then. We're coming back on track. Look, if any boxing promoters would like to get Hope involved for a charity match, then let her know. Equally, come back to Floyd. Well, we'll have to wait and see how his fight.
Quickly, I was hoping to interview KSI the other day, and I was going to say to him, if we need females, but I didn't get to interview him.
Oh, it's a shame. Never mind.
Do you know what's funny? There was a big wax figure of him standing, and I genuinely thought it was him, and I was like, he literally hasn't moved in 5 hours. What's he doing? And then someone was like, that's wax. I went, oh, I thought it was. Why are you so still, man? I got a selfie with him. I'll put it here. Anyway, back to Floyd.
But yeah, in short, Hope, we'll have to wait and see how he gets on September 25th. No doubt he'll win. He'll earn himself some more money. But yeah, fair play. You know, even though he's kind of retired, he's still kicking on. He's keeping people busy. And he's still producing big dubs. So there you go. But Hope, that really is enough about Floyd, and we'll move on to story number 2. To wrap up,
Sorry, quickly.
Yes.
How old is Floyd
he's
Mayweather?
50.
Oof.
No, is he 50? No, he might be. If he was,
I think he's older than that.
he was 45.
I feel like he's been kicking about for
he was
years.
45 in 2018. No, I think he is 50. Floyd Mayweather is. What? Oh, I told fibs. He's 45. Sorry, take it back.
Oh.
He's 45. There you go. Anyway.
Oh, sorry, Floyd. I thought you were about 65.
Blimey. Well, the bloke that you were texting might have been 65, but this Floyd definitely isn't. Right, moving on.
Oh, sorry. Story number 3.
And to wrap it all up, Hope, we're talking about another tennis tournament and another bit of drama from Mr.
Roger Federer.
Nick Kyrgios, not Roger Federer. He doesn't even play. Of course, another tennis tournament, the US Open, and Mr. Nick Kyrgios, as always, is causing controversy. And to be fair, part of it wasn't his fault. The other part, I can kind of get why the media lashed out. But yes, in short, Nick Kyrgios advanced. He beat a Frenchman called Ben Bonzo in 3 sets to 1.
Bonjour, Ben Bonzo.
I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. And
why? It was great.
Trouble is, when I don't have words, it says a lot, doesn't it? No, I'm only joking. To be fair.
It does.
Go on, do it again.
No.
Oh, really? All right, fine. Anyway, in the 3rd set, so, I mean, I was quite surprised and interested. And again, I'm interested to get your opinion, Hope, because I was quite surprised by this, that they even allow this. So, in the 3rd set, all of a sudden, Nick went over to the umpire and said he was being affected by marijuana smoke in the air. So, someone in the venue was smoking weed. Now, on the court, it's quite funny, actually, because on court, he said, it's effing marijuana, it was smoke. Obviously, I'm not going to complain about food. So, obviously, that I completely get. And in his post-match interview, he said, people don't know I'm a heavy asthmatic. When I'm running side to side, I'm struggling to breathe. It's probably not something I want to breathe in between points. What I was thinking was, which idiot decides, again, but that's what I don't understand. In most venues in the US that I've been to, you're not allowed to smoke. So I've never heard a story quite like this. I was quite surprised, to be honest.
Firstly, I think he just has excuses all the time. And secondly, did you know that fox urine smells the same as weed?
Yes, I do. We get foxes in our garden and it stinks.
So sometimes you might smell weed and you're like, oh, someone's being cheeky. And then you're like, oh no, it's just a fox had a wee.
See?
So maybe the stadium had loads of foxes come in before the game, weed all over the grass, and then he kept smelling that.
I mean,
that is the only logical explanation.
Yeah, that's the only way. It makes no other sense. It must have been foxes running into the stadium doing wee. I don't think they have foxes in the US, but there you go. Apparently, they must have some in Flushing Meadows. Now it also got a bit gross because
all the fox wee.
No, well, that may have been the reaction to the fox wee. And I think you're wetting yourself out. That's ridiculous. Then he was actually issued a code violation for abusing his own team. So I couldn't tell whether he lost the point or the set because I only saw a quick clip on Twitter. But he actually, when he lost the point, he was opposite his box and he spat towards them. There was a close-up of him spitting, and he got a conduct warning. And he basically made this comment about the fact that, if they're not going to support him, they should go home. A bit like we saw, do you remember at Wimbledon, Hope, we spoke about before, when he was in the final?
Oh, can you imagine being his girlfriend or wife? He'd be a right pain in the ass.
And he also was saying about how weird everyone is in America and why people live there and it's all backwards and stuff. Anyway, just, again, finding a reason to moan. But interestingly, the interesting thing is, so 6 years ago, he actually has had some drama in the US before because 6 years ago, he actually responded to a Twitter follower who said that on tour, US tennis players were allowed to smoke weed. Now, this actually led the doping organization WADA, which is WADA, to...
Great name. WADA! It's like, what's up?
Oh my name, is that Annoying Orange? That is that is crazy to think about. Yeah,
that
was my time. That was prime YouTube. Was that 2011?
Do you remember that? There used to be, back in the day, you could buy songs on the telly for your ringtone.
No.
Oh, and there used to be a skeleton man who was the Grim Reaper, and he used to be use this code for this song.
It's weird, isn't it, how different our life has been, even the 5 or 6.
Only a few years.
It's honestly bizarre. It really is.
I feel like Nick is a bit of a drama queen and blames, he's that phrase where it's oh God, not the phrase again where we've done this before. someone who's bad at their thing blames their tools. I feel like he blames everyone else and makes excuses.
Yeah. But in fairness, Hope, that's his tactic, and his tactic's brilliant because it works for him. And we'll have to see how he gets on. I mean,
well, he gets attention, I suppose.
Well, of course. And he attracts massive crowds. And the truth is, Serena Williams advanced. That was incredible. Emma Raducanu got knocked out. But the overall headlines were for Nick. And that's what he does. He can draw attention to himself, even when his game state isn't that important, isn't that big in comparison to other people performing. So yeah, Serena's still in. We'll have to see how she gets on. So she's smashing it for a farewell tournament. So we'll have to see how she gets on. But yeah, that, everybody, was the Sports for Dummies episode 7. Thank you. Oh,
sorry. You were going to do a really nice, polite little ending there. Serena Williams' glittery outfit. My mum walked in and went, "Oh, what is she wearing?" And my brother was like, "Yeah, she's really annoying." I was like, "Oh, bless her. She's trying to play a game."
On her farewell tour, she looks awful. Oh, she's annoying. Yeah, it's like, just give her a chance. She hasn't even played yet and you're already moaning. But yeah, all the best to Serena as well for people being rude to her. But yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for listening today. And please do let us know any stories we've missed, anything that we could have spoken about. Let us know what we've missed in the world of sports. But for everyone here at Sports for Dummies, which is just me and Hope, thank you for listening, as always, and tuning in. And hopefully, in weeks to come, we will have a couple of guests on, depending on what's going down. So keep your eyes on the prize, as always, for that. For those.
Oh, just one eye this time.
Well, I couldn't. I didn't have enough time to do 2, so I thought the monocle.
There's always time. There's always time, babes.
Sorry,
babes. I don't know why I said babes.
All
There's
right,
always time, babes.
Right. See you later, everyone. Bye, babes. Bye. Right, go on, Hope. Say your bit, then we'll go. Babes.
If you've enjoyed this episode and the randomness of it all, please let us know. sportsfordummiespodcast@gmail.com. We'll see you next week for episode 8.
Bye, everyone. Yes, we will.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Oh, that was a bit depressing at the end. But
bye.